And welcome to another figure painting video. This is another 3D resin print from the guys at Printable Dragon, and it is a female gunslinger, kind of steampunk one. And again, when I saw this on the stand, I just had to have it. The one thing that I love about miniatures nowadays compared to back when I was a young lad is the fact that you can actually get females. They were so hard to come by. In fact, thinking back on it, back when I was, well, in single figures, the only ones I ever saw were Joan of Arc, Cleopatra, or along with the Egyptians you had a slave set, and well, they were very scantily clad to say the very least, and that was it. Nowadays you've got pretty much, well, when it comes to adventuring characters, a 50-50 mix, and that is really what we were after all along. You just couldn't tell the manufacturers that. I'm really looking forward to painting this one because I actually get to use some bright colours on her. But before we get to that, it is the obligatory dry brush of grey around the base. And in this case, I think that that is going to really set off the colours that I'm going to be using for the rest of it. Alright. Right, time to get some flesh on this young lady, and there is an awful lot of flesh going on. Right, I'll start in the middle there, get her face, and then the arms, but not the globes. And then, I am not certain about the legs. That certainly looks like bare thigh up there, but she is wearing stockings. And I've never painted stockings before, this is going to be interesting. So, I think what I'll do is I'll get flesh on all of that, and I'll have to work out how I'm going to paint the stockings in. But she's definitely starting to come to life already. Okay, right, I'll let her dry before I move on to the next colour. So at this stage I'm going to dot around a bit with the different colours I'm going to be using, and I may have to revisit some colours later on because this is a many sort of layered figure. But I'm starting off with black, and I'm going to be doing that on the boots and the gloves and the guns. And I'm just blocking in with a large paintbrush, and then I will swap out to a smaller brush for the sort of edges and the detail work. Right, swap colour, and this is Bestial Brown. So this is the base coat of the top hat, and I'm also going to do her bodice this colour. Now, if there are any steampunk aficionados out there, I will be honest, I am not one myself. I am simply going from reference pictures of the style of clothing that I've found on the internet, and it certainly seems as if there is a reasonable mix between different types of fabrics plus leather that goes on with your guys' costumes, and that is what I am trying to recreate here. And some of them do look absolutely spectacular, it's got to be said. But please forgive me if I am making any kind of cultural faux pas. Just do a quick recoat on those areas because it does look as if it is quite watered down, and I did want it a wee bit more solid than that. Yeah, that is better. Okay, starting to come together already. Okay, next I'm going to go for Imperial Purple. Now, this may seem quite muted, but I'm going to be putting a far darker purple wash over the top of this, and I think it's going to come out looking absolutely spiffing. So, just do the edges in and around that skin area. Get those hard to reach places. Now that I've got all the fine detail work done, I can swap to a bigger brush and just quickly block in that colour. Just take a wee bit more care that I don't accidentally go over anything while I'm painting between the legs here. A few areas of touch up I'll have to do there, but that is all fine. And then a nice dark brown for the hair. And you know what, while I'm here, I will also, because it's already dried, just give a wee bit of a flick over those boots, because that's what I wanted to do, just to give them a little bit of a highlight. And then I also want to use that colour just for the band on the goggles. Okay, I will let that dry. I will do the touch-ups off camera and then let the touch-ups dry, and then it is on to ink coats. Okay, time to break out the washes, and we're going to go for the lowest level first, so it is flesh wash. And because there's an awful lot of adjacent areas that are getting washed, I'm going to have to leave a reasonable amount of dry time between each coat, unfortunately, because otherwise they'll just bleed. Okay, time to wash the leathers. This is a very old paint. It's a GW chestnut wash, and I honestly have no idea what the equivalent of it is now, but I am going to use that just to richen up all of the leather areas. And this is the colour that I have been waiting for. This is a purple wash, and I'm going to apply that to all of the dress and see how that just completely transforms it. Yeah, that's what I was after. Lovely. Alright, now I can get on to the highlighting and detail. Right, last little bit of block colour before I move on to the highlights. And I am going to do the hem of her dress. Oh, right. Okay, that's definitely neaten things up. Now, I want a quick spot of white just on the inside of those goggles, because I'm going to be popping a wee ink wash in there just to make them stand out. That's good. Now let's have some skin highlights. So this is elf flesh. Right up the tops of the arms there, and the chest area. Catch the face properly, and then just the tops of the thigh above that stocking top. Speaking of which, I had a word with the wife, and she gave an insight on how to do those stockings, and I hope it works. But I do need to pop those stocking tops in now. Let's give those guns a wee bit of a dry brush with metal. She's looking pretty close to being finished. We are approaching the final stages with this young lady, and we are now getting into detail time. I'll just get the lenses of those goggles done, and this is just a spot of green ink in there and in there. Good, that sets it off nicely. Now we're going to add a wee bit of colour to the trim on our dress, and I'm hoping this still works. This is a rather derelict pot of Space Wolves grey, but there's enough moisture in there just to be able to pick out those raised bits around the trim. Yeah, that is working. That's coming up really nicely. And the last little bit of detailing, this is a Tamiya copper, and I want that for the belt buckle and the outside of the goggles and the revolving chamber on the pistols. And you know what, I think I'll also do it on the blades of those guns as well, just to make that stand out a little bit more. Oh, okay, almost missed a bit. There is lacing, and I need, where's me black for the lacing detail. Now, wish me luck. So that is her so far, and the very final thing is to do her stockings, and I am hoping that a simple red wash will give the sheer effect that we are after. Otherwise I've got an amount of repainting to do. I think that has worked. Alright, I'm going to do the face and eyeballs off camera, because there is an amount of makeup to be done, and you are never going to be able to see that in a month of Sundays, but that is ready for her photo op, and I am really pleased with that miniature. I've been waiting to do this one for absolutely ages, and I am so chuffed with it, it is untrue. And if you have enjoyed watching this one, then please do hit subscribe, but I will see you again tomorrow for a crafting video. Bye for now.